Millions of people love her, millions judge her, but somehow this engineering student created the exact life most normal girls secretly dreamed about. Okay, now let me confess. I didn't properly discover Apurva through Instagram. I noticed her in Lockup, and bhai, after she entered, I was literally sitting in front of the screen thinking, finally someone said it. The exact things I wanted someone to say to Shilpa and Shreya. She started saying those things so directly and confidently. And obviously, this is only my personal opinion. But I genuinely thought this girl is extremely intelligent. Not just loud, not just dramatic. She actually observes people, understands the situation and knows how to explain her point. Honestly, मुझे उस time इतनी शांति मिली. You know that feeling when you already have a full argument prepared inside your head, but someone else delivers it perfectly for you. Exactly that. So after that, naturally I searched her. I thought I would watch 1 or 2 videos, बस सिर्फ ये देखने के लिए कि who she actually is. But one video became 2, 2 became 5, and suddenly I had entered the full Rebel Kit rabbit hole. Oh my god. I genuinely did not get bored. Even when she was telling a completely normal story, the way she described every awkward detail made it entertaining. It did not feel like an influencer performing for a camera. It felt like your funniest friend had just returned from a trip and said, sit down, तुम believe नहीं करोगे मेरे साथ क्या हुआ. And that is when I became curious. Who was this girl before the millions of views, brand campaigns, reality shows and controversies? Before the internet knew her as a rebel kid, she was Apurva Mukhija, a student following the exact path that most South Asian families understand very well. Study properly, get good results, choose a respectable degree, find a stable job, basically follow the approved life template. Apurva later studied engineering at Manipal University, Jaipur. And this part felt extremely relatable to me. Because I also studied engineering. I was a first class student when you are known as the good student, people quietly write your future for you. You are supposed to make sensible decisions, you are supposed to be responsible, you are not supposed to embarrass your family, and you definitely are not supposed to suddenly announce, actually I want to talk to a camera for a living. Bhai, I could not even imagine doing half the things she did. मेरे माइंड में सबसे पहले ये आता, फैमिली क्या बोलेगी, रिलेटिव्स क्या सोचेंगे, यूनिवर्सिटी के लोग जज नहीं करेंगे. I was so busy maintaining the image of the good kid that experimenting publicly felt almost impossible. But Apurva was building something else beside that conventional life. She was discovering that her personality, the loud stories, sharp observations, and chaotic humor people might normally ask her to control could actually become her biggest. I was so busy maintaining the image of the good kid that experimenting publicly felt almost impossible. But Apurva was building something else beside that conventional life. She was discovering her personality, the loud stories, sharp observations, and chaotic humor people might normally ask her to control could actually become her biggest strength. Her digital journey began during the COVID era, lockdown period, when millions of people were stuck at home and short-form content was just exploding. But opening an account and becoming successful are two completely different things. Thousands of people uploaded videos, very few created a personality that people could instantly recognize. Apurva's content focused on things young people already understood. College confusion, dating disasters, friendship drama, travel stories, family expectations, awkward situations, and those private thoughts we normally share only with close friends. The situations were ordinary, the delivery was not. And here is the important part. She was not selling perfection, she was selling relatability. After completing engineering, Apurva worked at Dell Technologies, publicly associated with a sales engineering role. Just think about the transition. Engineering degree done, corporate job secured. The respectable route was working exactly as designed. Most families could call that the happy ending, but for her, it became another chapter, not the ending. Her creator identity was growing, and she eventually stepped away from the corporate route to focus on the path she had built online. That decision sounds glamorous after success, but before success, it is terrifying. Because people celebrate risks only after those risks work. Usse pehle, people simply call you irresponsible. Honestly, this part hit me. Because we often say, I wish I had her confidence. But confidence is not some magical personality trait someone receives at birth. Sometimes confidence is simply doing something even when you know people may judge you. I had the degree, I understood technology, I had ideas too. But bhai, is staying alone, publicly creating content and letting everyone watch me experiment? मेरी family के बारे में लोग क्या क्या बोलते? I can already imagine the family group chat. So when I look at Apurva's journey, I do not only see an influencer. I see someone who gave herself permission to try a different life. And honestly, that is rare. But wait, social media was only one platform. Apurva expanded into acting and entertainment projects, including Who Is Your Gainak and later Nadania. Then came reality television. And this is where audiences could see something different. In edited reels, creators control the camera, the timing, and the final cut. If something feels awkward, you can remove it. If the joke does not land, you can film it again. But in a reality show, you are surrounded by other strong personalities. You cannot simply delete an awkward moment and restart the scene. That environment tests whether the confidence people see online still exists when the creator loses control of the edit. And trust me, that is where personality becomes impossible to fake. In 2025, Apurva appeared on Prime Video's Indian adaptation of The Traitors. The format placed contestants inside a psychological game where a hidden group of traitors had to deceive the others. One of her most discussed moments came when she strongly suspected Raj Kundra, who was later revealed to be a traitor. And viewers began noticing something beyond the comedy. Her observation, her directness, her willingness to say what she believed, even when the room did not fully agree. She did not win the season, but the show gave viewers another version of the rebel kid. Not only the storyteller, but the strategic and emotionally expressive contestant. Of course, not every interaction received praise. Some viewers felt she was too blunt or disrespectful in certain moments, and that division has followed her career repeatedly. Some people see confidence, others see arrogance. Kabhi both groups are watching the exact same clip. Then came the biggest public backlash of her career. In early 2025, an episode of India's Got Latent featuring several well-known creators triggered widespread outrage over remarks made during the show. Complaints and official questions followed. Multiple people connected to the episode faced intense public scrutiny. Apurva was also criticized for her own response to a participant. She later explained publicly that she had reacted after a sexist remark and said she was angry that much of the outrage appeared to overlook the comment that had provoked her response. Now, this does not mean everyone had to agree with her language. People were allowed to criticize what they considered inappropriate. But here is where the line becomes important. There is difference between criticism and targeted abuse. And the reaction she received went far beyond normal disagreement. She withdrew from social media for a period and later returned while showing examples of the severe abusive messages directed at her. And honestly, that part was really disturbing. And the comeback was not presented as some perfectly polished motivational speech. It still had her humor, her frustration, her unapologetic energy. She continued speaking about the effects of the controversy, including housing difficulties in Mumbai, and kept appearing in entertainment projects. This does not mean the controversy disappeared. The internet rarely forgets. But continuing her public humiliation requires a very particular kind of emotional stubbornness. You may call it resilience, you may call it rebellion. Either way, she refused to let one terrible chapter write the ending. And honestly, that is really powerful. And then came Lockup 2. Apurva entered as a wildcard contestant and immediately began giving direct opinions about the people and situations inside the show. This is where I personally started connecting with the personality even more. Again, this is only my personal opinion. But when she challenged things, I was also questioning. It felt satisfying. She said the uncomfortable part out loud, and maybe that is the core of her appeal. She does not always say the most diplomatic thing. She says the things that creates a reaction. Sometimes that reaction is exactly, sometimes it is, why would she say that? But either way, people continue talking. And for a public personality, being impossible to ignore is a very powerful position. Apurva's story made me think about how many of us spend our life trying to be the good kid. The good student, the responsible engineer, the person who never gives relatives anything to discuss. And there is nothing wrong with being responsible. But sometimes, while protecting the image everyone created for us, we forget to ask what kind of life we actually want. I could not make many of the decisions she made. Maybe I was not ready. Maybe I was too afraid of judgment. Maybe मुझे सिर्फ life lose करने का डर था. But seeing someone else take those risks reminds me that life does not end after choosing the safe path. You can still create, you can still change, you can still become more than the title written on your degree. Whether you love Apurva Mukhija or find her completely chaotic, one thing is difficult to deny. She took the parts of her personality people could have called loud, dramatic, or rebellious, and turned them into a career. She made mistakes publicly, she faced criticism publicly, and she continued rebuilding publicly. Maybe being a rebel does not mean never being afraid. Maybe it means refusing to let fear make every decision for you. And honestly, that is why I love her story.